Chef, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Get up, and just give me. And we just side to side. All right. I love it. Chef, un placer to have you on the show.
Same here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah. Listen, so for our viewers, tell us a little bit about your story, how you got into what you do, and where you are today.
So, to everyone, my name is Omi, and I decided that I was going to turn on my camera one day in the middle of the pandemic, and that I was going to share my family's recipes, really.
What did you do before that, though?
I'm a makeup artist. I'm a professional makeup artist. That's still my profession. That's still my job. It's still what I do. And obviously with the whole world shutting down, my studio was shut down. My clients, I had none. So we were all home. And I could have very easily picked up the same phone with the same ring light and done many video tutorials on how to do makeup. But for what? Where were we gonna go? We're wearing a mask, we're covering half our faces. So I don't watch TV. I really don't. And my only way to entertain myself was just to speak to my followers. And so I actually, when I turned on the camera to do a tutorial or just show people what I was gonna cook for the day, I did it on my makeup page. But very, very quickly, I realized that my makeup page was turning into a cooking page.
And that's organic growth.
Yes.
Let me ask you this, though. How did the passion for cooking begin?
Oh, that's easy. That's my grandmother's doing, my aunts, my mom. My mom is an amazing cook, and she comes from a line of nothing but women. Las Garcia, las mujeres Garcia, toditas cocinamos, we all cook. And I remember vividly being in the kitchen with myself and my cousins, and like, there was always so much fun in the kitchen. And those recipes, I came to the US at the age of 12, but I had the opportunity to visit the island of Puerto Rico back with my grandparents every single summer until I graduated high school.
Porque vos dominás los dos idiomas.
Sí.
¿Y por qué escogiste español en los videos?
Escogí español por dos cosas. Primeramente, yo soy la única persona en mi casa que lo habla fluente. I'm the only person that speaks fluent. But also, it is really hard to translate certain dishes into English. I'm like, yo no voy a pasar tanto trabajo. We're gonna do this in Spanish como me lo enseñó mi abuelita, como me lo enseñó mi mamá. And that's it.
And I also think it's smart, though, because you're now, I guess you're in less competition because you're in that Spanish realm, because there are a lot of videos, los cocineros chef en inglés. And so I really love how you dominate that. Like, look at Nicky Jam, for example, dominates both languages, pero la mayoría en español.
En español.
Romeo Santos, lo mismo. And just so you know a little about our show, it's about elevating and showcasing our culture, but also the business stat, and also in the business opportunity of growth, And so that's why I mentioned your name in español y inglés, the way I mentioned examples of Nicky Jam and Romeo, right? Or Chef Claudia, she grew up in San Diego, she was a master chef, pero ella domina, el español. And hay que aprovechar eso, because you can always cross over whenever you want. That's the beautiful part about being bilingual, right? So talk to us about, I guess I really love your videos because they're entertaining, and it's less about production and more about personality and the actual execution of the dish. So you do the entire production yourself?
I'm everything. I'm hitting the record button. I stop it. I set up the lighting. I do it all.
Yeah, and it's very important to note to our viewers that she dances on beat, because there are a lot of chefs Latinos that are trying to always, do the little shimmy, and it doesn't make sense. But like when you did the Ivy Queen, cat, right? And then you do the salsa, I'm like, okay, esta sabe. And then you know how to cook. When was it When was your first aha moment que lo que estás haciendo está teniendo éxito?
I will tell you, it was immediate. It was the response that I got from both women and men who shared intimate stories with me, telling me that they always wanted to learn that specific recipe, and maybe either a grandmother passed away or a mom passed away, and they never had the chance or the opportunity to learn that recipe. And I was the person teaching them that. And I take that super, I mean, and that goes right to my heart. And I take it very seriously. And when you find that type of purpose, it's so rewarding. But at the same time, you know that you're leaving people with an impression of something. And I love to teach. I'm a natural born teacher. That's what I do with my makeup business. I teach people how to do their own makeup, of course. Been doing that for 8 years. And now teaching them, which what I thought, honestly, I didn't do it with the intent of it turning into this ever. I did it with just de corazón, wanting to show people what I was doing. Really,
Yeah.
it's really all it was.
And let me ask you this: what are the challenges of growing a brand online that you're encountering?
Now I'm noticing now that I can no longer be a one-woman show. I need help.
Yeah.
And so
You've grown. You need a team. You need production, and you'll see some interviews of other online success chefs. I want you to look at that, because that's the best way to grow, is when you have that peer-to-peer mentorship. You know, and
yes.
that's what me comidazo. I want everyone. Like, I don't just let people in. We let people in que son buena gente, que quieren crecer y que quieren ayudar y apoyar. You know,
yes.
Look what the Black community has done. Look what the Jewish community has done to support. And so instead of complaining que Latinos no hacen eso, you have the whole crabs in a bucket saying, I choose not to listen to that drama. I choose to create it. Y por eso que yo creé esta plataforma Comidazo, you know? So now you're saying that you now realize you can't be a woman team. Before you move on, what does that mean? Because you're a cheat. Now you know that you have to be consistent with content creation. You have to be focusing now on being creative, but there's a certain amount of success volume metrics. Are you measuring your online analytics? Talk to us about that.
So I'm having to do that. I'm having to, like, if a brand wants to, I apologize. That was something that was not supposed to come through. Now I'm having to almost figure out, if a brand wants to work with me, how much am I worth, right? Like, what am I gonna lowball myself? Am I going to give them a fair price? Like, I want to make sure that I'm doing that right, and that because if it is to continue to grow, which I know it will be, and I know that it is something that is near and dear to my heart now, because like I said, I have definitely found purpose in it. I want to do it right. And so having to learn not just analytics for one social media platform, but all the platforms that I'm on across the board, I need to learn how to, because the algorithms are all different.
See?
The way that they work are all different. So I have to make sure that I'm constantly checking that. I'm the person who responds. I'm the person who, sends back emails. I'm liking comments. I'm writing on the
DMs.
DM.
You're engaging. Listen,
Totally
I DM'd you and you came back at me, and I love that, because once we make it big, one of the things I want to tell people is, like, you have to engage. If you think you're too big to respond to someone, you might be walking away from someone that can impact, can support, and can collaborate, So yeah, that's a little shout out to the Comiendas who don't reply back to be on the show. Anyways, but let me tell you something real quick. You know how I found you? That song that I played in the beginning, do you know the name of the song, or have you heard it before? Okay, so that song for our viewers is very important, because it was the first song that Latin America put successfully in New York, in the United States. And I say New York because that's the only place that played Latin music back then. Entonces, that was the first song in the 70s that really made that commercial sound. And Willie Colon put it in with all the combinations of music rhythms that he had, from Panama to Puerto Rico to New York. But he had a Jibaro singer on that album. And do you know who that singer is?
Hold on. Hector Lavoe.
Hector Lavoe. So Hector Lavoe was this young kid. Now, sorry, I'm going on a little debrief, but
It's okay.
the guy who plays timbales on that song is a good friend of mine. So he was a timbalero for Willie Colon and Hector Lavoe. He had shared your video to me.
Oh,
So
wow.
I get goosebumps because Hector. I mean, Fat Joe has Hector back there. You'll see one of my favorite shirts is I put dopeness and it's got Celia, Hector, Anthony Bourdain, Jay-Z, Michael Jordan, because that's just who you and I are. That's what the Latino de hoy es. We have our roots, but we love hip hop, we love culture in America, pero somos Latinos. So, anyways, I wanted to share that with you because you never know. What you mentioned, every platform is different. Y entonces fue él que me mandó el video tuyo, and I'm like, yo, who is this? Because let's face it, there are other names out there I won't mention that are like the women faces of Latina food. But when I saw you, I'm like, shit, those dishes are dope. Those dishes are calle. Lo estás haciendo con sabor, and you know how to dance, and you're making it so easy because I think cooking videos can sometimes be too difficult to follow and not fun. Is that something you purposely think about? Que sea un video muy fácil. Because
Yes.
you do a lot of cuts. You do a lot of cuts, and then you do it. And I love how you say, eche lo que te guste, because you never give ingredients, right? Or I love the one that you did, hay que formarlo en el wax paper, right? So it's like so cool how you do it. Is that something you purposely think about? Que el show sea entertaining y fácil?
I teach the way that I learn. So that is how I learn. And I'd like to think that I'm a very simple person. Like when it comes to, like, you have to show it to me. You may not, don't give me measurements. You're gonna lose me. I'm gonna lose focus. I'm gonna get frustrated. I'm gonna think it's not doable. Just give it to me. So my mom, she's huge on this. Like, mami, pero cuánto le he hecho? Coge la cuchara de arroz, le va a echar esa cantidad.
Que un pellizco de sal. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like she would un puño para allá, and that's where I get her from. Like that's how she taught me. So I teach it how I know I would want to learn it.
Okay, I like that. And brands, are they reaching out to you, or you reaching out to them? Because you went from a makeup artist, poniendo video que te gusta cocinar, tu pasión. You're seeing the numbers, because I want to talk more about the business. Are brands reaching out to you? Are you reaching out to them? For our viewers that are following your footsteps, para unos consejos para ellos, are they following you? Or, talk to me about that.
Brands have now started reaching out to me as of, I would say, as of the last 3 to 4 months. I've definitely had the opportunity to work with amazing brands, and the content is still kind of going. And again, one of the things that, from a business perspective, when you are talking to these brands, you have to know what their vision is, right? And does it line up with who you are as to what you're doing in your channel, right? And I'm huge on the integrity of what I show my people. Like, I do not show something that I don't already either use or that I bought myself.
Yeah.
And so I'm big on that. And I want to make sure.
Do you purposely don't use Goya? Because I see you use every spice but Goya. Pero no
yeah, I stopped using Goya when the whole debacle of last year happened.
The come mierdería, I got you.
La come mierdería. I stopped using it. However, I kind of reprimanded myself on it, and here's why. To the follower that loves my content, that maybe lives in the middle of nowhere and all they can find is Goya, keep using it. Don't stop using it on my behalf.
Yep.
But what I did see an opportunity, and what I did see a window for, was to allow for the little guy to come into the light.
Yep.
Allow to those smaller brands to give them a place to shine. And if I've been given this opportunity and this platform to do that, I should use that.
That's well said. I agree with you on that, because we can't punish the majority 94+% employees that they have que son Latino.
Correct.
So boycotting that, and the way you did it was subtle. Like I watch all your videos, so I'm like, okay, you don't need to go out there and blast anybody. Look, what your prerogative is your prerogative. Like Bobby Brown said, it's your prerogative, Pero me gusta. The one I saw this morning was when you look at the camera, you're like, oye, No quiero complicar, because you use the rotisserie chicken in your tripleta, right? So I love that, because everything people think that it has to be from scratch. No, what you're teaching is the home cook to eat delicious and for them
Yes.
to cook. Let's focus on that before we worry so much about creating a, a chimichurri from scratch. Se llama fácil comprar ya hecho, and it's good, right?
Yeah.
So I love this. I knew we were going to have fun, but I also love the content that it's business related and you're always tying it. Um, in the next 2-3 years, what's the plan for Cooking with Omi?
Next 2 to 3 years, I want to give myself an opportunity to leave space for a book. I would love a recipe book, an actual something that people can actually follow, but also a legacy that I can leave for my children. And I would love to maybe be the representation that is needed on whether it's a TV show or whether it's maybe a slot, whatever it is. Shooting for the sky here, right? I'm taking the limits off, completely taking the limits off. And hopefully being that representation. Whether it's in Spanish, whether it's in English, I'm down to do either. If it's a Spanglish, even better. Mejor todavía.
Yeah.
I will be launching my own sofrito line this coming spring.
I love it. Listen, sofrito is so useful, not just for the base, but in salad dressings.
Yes.
You modify a little bit of dipping sauce, garnishes, right?
Yeah.
That is, when you look at Mexican food, Bourdain said it best. He says the Mexicans themselves have a lot to blame themselves when they give out the free chips and salsa, when the white Mexicans charge $10 and people will buy it, right?
Yeah.
So you're onto that. Number two, let's go back into your 3-year plan. I see you growing your brand, which is what you do best, and you will achieve a cookbook. You will achieve even higher numbers on your streaming. You will get picked up for TV, and you should have your product. The last thing you left off, which I think you're capable, which I believe you're capable of, is you're going to find restaurant groups. They're going to invest in you, right? You're going to find someone and say, "Oye, Omi, we have a restaurant in Las Vegas, spot in the casino. Let's put you on there," right? Because I know chefs that have restaurants in Las Vegas. I know chefs that have, a lot of restaurants. We've interviewed Jose Garces, and other people who have restaurant groups. So es lo que me gusta. The podcast isn't about me talking. The podcast is about me learning y nosotros aprendiendo. Because now you're saying, you're right. You don't have to go take out 100,000 equity in your house to put into a restaurant. Now grow your brand because you have something they don't, and they have something you want, which is capital,
Yeah.
and you're the face. So I love that. And we just need a new face in any aspect, in food, in entertainment, in sports, and in thought leadership. That's why I've created this platform. I want to show the new faces because the old faces, they did their job, pero ya es el segundo nivel, las redes sociales, la cultura, combinations. Okay, so let's have some fun facts. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Are you liking the interview so far?
I'm loving this. This is awesome.
Okay, ¿qué te molesta? That's called your pet peeve, but for our Spanish viewers, ¿qué te molesta de la industria?
The cattiness. I don't like the cattiness.
Yeah.
Or like the people hiding information that is so vital for someone else to help someone else grow. Mm-hmm. And I am so quick to just give it for free, and I'm okay with that. I'm never not gonna be okay with that. Like it's you. Para eso estamos. Like I can't take what you have. You can't take what I have. Had that been the case, Ajax wouldn't exist. Clorox wouldn't exist. Mm-hmm. Palmolive wouldn't exist. You have all these brands. You walk by them all the time. You're gonna pick the one you like.
Exactly.
That's it. But when you try to keep it all to yourself, you're limiting yourself. You're limiting yourself from opening doors somewhere else, or maybe to a whole new audience. Mm-hmm. So I'm a huge that bothers me when people keep things.
That's cattiness en industria. Ahora, ¿qué te molesta de la sociedad?
Oh.
This is deep. Esto no es solo cocina, esta es cultura, right? So
yeah.
what loves you?
I would say that right now, the if I can get even deeper with that, it's mi isla querida que adoro y amo, mi isla Puerto Rico. I find that we're struggling. We are struggling as a people, and no hay nadie que nos pueda representar bien where it matters most, right? So like right now, we need somebody up in Washington really representing us and speaking for the people the right way.
Speaking for the people the right way for the best interest of the island.
Yes.
100%. 2 years ago, I sat down with the ex-governor because I do a lot of work in Puerto Rico, so I'll explain offline on that. But you're absolutely right. Hitting with hurricanes, hitting with the pandemic, hitting with the corrupt leadership, la pobre gente, like, they always talk about resilience everywhere else, but I really do think la gente de Puerto Rico, they're more resilient than anybody.
Yeah.
Rain or shine, it's okay. I get sad now that you're saying that. Rain or shine, when I go to the island, the people never show they've been beaten down. But
Never.
we all have been. And so I have to give that to the Puerto Ricans on the island, son la gente más fuerte, and I go, I'm half Nicaragüense, half Chino, so I bet you my Nicaraguan side is going to be like, what about us? But it's different because it's a U.S. domestic, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I love that. And you know what? It's tough because there is no short-term solution. It has to unfortunately be wiped out to start from scratch. And it sucks because you have to have people with the vision y la paciencia. But that's for people like you, right? When you surround yourself with 15 others, Puerto Ricans with a voice, que tengan the business experience, the political serving experience, and then the cultural experience, because that's how you galvanize a movement. So I love that. Any way I can help you, I will. Okay, and the world is ending. The last meal on earth, ¿qué sería?
Yeah, rayo. Una alcapurria.
Okay, so listen, that's another thing. Like, I don't want people to think I'm obsessed with you, but I love the way you just lo rayaste, you put it in the freaking food processor, and you just dumped a bunch of achote oil. I'm like, that's so dope.
When I made my first alcapurria video, I wanted to be, like as authentic as possible as how my mom did it, how my grandmother did it, y guayando, ¿verdad? Yo estoy ahí guayando. And I called my mom, I was like, mami, mira, hice el video, y se lo enseñé. Y mi mamá me dice, nena, pero ¿por qué tú pasaste tanto trabajo y tú no pusiste eso en la licuadora? I was like, what?
Yeah. You got the validation. You got the validation. Yeah, listen, my mother, right? She'll show me pictures in Nicaragua because my mom loves to cook. Y me dice, mira, hijo, hice los tostones. I'm like, because I know my mom doesn't have the time to do all that. Me dice, mira, pongo yo el plátano en el microwave 4 o 5 minutos. Se suaviza, lo plancho y lo pongo a freír una vez. I'm like, oh my God. So now it's okay to microwave because my mom said it. Because you're not going to tell moms no, but she's like that way. So I share it with all my other Puerto Rican friends, like, yo, this is awesome. It's less work. Y está más jugoso because you put it in the microwave 4 or 5 minutes, se aplasta, and you fry it, right?
Brilliant.
So,
Brilliant.
You got to do it. You got to do it and give a shout out to Blanca. So I love that alcapurria. Listen, one of my favorite spots is, obviously Cuchifrito in Spanish Harlem, El Barrio. Even though I'm from California, I go to New York a lot, East Coast. And I love going to Cuchifrito and get cuajito and the alcapurria. Or the alcapurria and piñones,
Have you been to Casa Adela's?
I love it for many reasons. And I was very lucky to have met Doña Adela before she passed. And again, not only is she Boricua pride, but to me, it's also someone who withstood gentrification, the neighborhood flicks, the business, transformation. And so to me, that's always going to have a special place in my heart that I got lucky for her to say, I said, ¿qué ordeno? She told me what to order, and then she said thank you, and then she went back to her numbers, and that is in the grand.
That's beautiful.
So yeah, I have that. Yeah, so I love that. Okay, 3 people that are, I could go on with you more, but I want to do this every 90 days with you because I want to have people follow your update through COVID. That's what I do for all the big guests that we have. And 3 people that are alive to have dinner with, ¿quién sería?
Oh God. That are not alive?
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive. Celia Cruz. Mm. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. AOC. I'm gonna get heat for that one.
That's deep. That's deep.
Um, and this is just my selfish moment, J-Lo.
Nothing wrong with that, man. Listen, that's a eclectic, and let me tell you, that'll probably be my goal. Get you up there with one of those two alive, because I do a lot of work on the policy stuff. But why Celia?
Man, she never changed. The industry never changed her. She was con su cabecita de algodón, Don Pedro, and her everywhere. And I love that.
Wasn't it
Love
awesome? Wasn't it awesome the telenovela they did on her? That was her story. That was awesome, right? Did you watch it?
It was beautiful. I didn't watch the whole series through. I told you I don't really watch TV.
Well, you're gonna have to, and my friends at Live and Loud, they're producing the new telenovela on HBO Max coming up. So we'll make sure if there's a red carpet party, you and I are gonna be there, right?
Oh my gosh.
¿Y por qué AOC?
I just want to know, not want to know. I think healthy conversations need to be had around what's happening right now and where our world is headed. You know, I'm not sure that maybe everyone knows this or not. Maybe I'm totally ignorant to this. I was on the phone. This is just a quick anecdote. I was on the phone with Apple. I was having issues with my Mac piece, and the person who was helping me was in Australia, and we were on the phone for a whole hour and a half. And you get to talking. I'm a friendly person, so I wanted to ask. I was like, so are you guys being vaccinated over there? Are you guys using the same vaccines? And he's like, oh no, we're using different vaccines. And I'm like, what? I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're waiting for like 3.
Right. I'm thinking, well, that's the 3 that are out. That's it. That's the only 3 that exist because that's what's available to us. And no, they're using, like, they have multiple that are available to them that they're using over there.
Yeah.
So like, I want to have healthy discussions about stuff like that. Like, why are we so like closed off to the rest of the world to the point where like we don't find out about these things until later? Like,
yeah,
it's so off. Everything's so off.
No, I'm with you.
And we don't have, I feel like we have a voice, but our voice almost got shut down, after that last election. Like the whole process got questioned as to how, how we run our democracy. And it's just the whole system's broken.
Yeah, this is why I think I'm usually, on the hard work, self-responsibility side. And sometimes I don't agree with all of the cancel culture, but I'm for the cancel culture because in most cases, because nothing's perfect, right? You can eat alcapurria every day, but now you're going to look like an alcapurria, right? So you got a moderation, right? So I tell people I'm okay with cancel culture because it's going to do more good for accountability than it is for the silly stuff like Pepe Le Pew or Woody Woodpecker or shit like that. Pero a mí me gusta que hay más bueno que malo in the accountability part of it. And you said it right there. If the system is broken, the only way, when you break that sauce, the only way to do is to start over.
Yeah.
And so I like that. And so, man, I love that. And you're absolutely right. And I promise you, whatever opportunities that come our way, that you will be perfect because I'm one of your biggest fans, So thank you for being on the show. And I look forward to having you next time. Okay.
Same here. Thank you so much for having me.
No doubt. And then we end it with some music.